Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. It does not mean that something becomes true just because many people claim it to be true. Therefore, I do not claim that what I said, my assessment on Russia-NATO conflict in Ukraine being an unwinnable war, is true just because other people have the same assessment of the situation. In this case, I have the president of Serbia, Aleksandar Vucic, who says the same thing. West can't defeat Russia. It doesn't mean that if he says it, and I said it before, and others said it, will make that true. You have to prove it with evidence, make an analysis, and then you reach a conclusion. And the clear and easy conclusion is this. NATO and Russia, both sides have nuclear weapons. Forget about Ukraine. Ukraine is just the host that is used by these guys. So they both have nuclear weapons. If one of these sides is, let's say, threatened with its existence, so their existence is threatened, they will not flinch in showing their nuclear weapons and using them. Because in real life, that's the way it is. If I fight against someone else and I have a handgun in my holster right here, and I fight with that guy, Papa Booby Baba Lava, and the guy gets me, knocks me down, and is about to kill me, guess what I'm gonna do? Exactly. I'm not gonna allow him to take my life and die with my handgun in my holster. Okay? I will say, I'm gonna use it, my man. Get up, back up. Okay? And the same the other side will do. Because that is the instinct of preservation, or of conservation. You will do that. If you don't do it, then I don't know what to tell you. Weasel. So that's why Russia cannot lose, because it has nuclear weapons. It's only one, as I see it, it's only one scenario when Russia could lose. That is if, as I said, Putin and about 300 other people in leadership position, important positions, are somehow eliminated in a few hours. So they cannot act. And everybody stands down. And these guys take over all this military, intelligence, oppressive departments, and like police and these kind of things, secret police, KGB, whatever you want to call it. Now it's different, no KGB, it's SBU or whatever it is. So, and obviously all these guys stand down. That means the Russian Federation does not break, and you have 5 idiots with a lot of nuclear weapons, okay, and you prevent that. That's the only way Russia will lose. Russia will not say, oh, we're losing, we're gonna give you back the territories we took from you. That would not happen. If that would be the case, I guarantee you Russia will have a general mobilization or will threaten nuclear war. And then we'll see how the other weasels will react, which they have more to lose than those Russians because of their families, money, and so on. So they will say, back off. And we're going to discuss. And both sides will win. So we have here Vucic, the president of Serbia, coming and saying, Russia cannot lose. The West can't defeat Russia. Well, it doesn't mean you should not try, because they're trying, right? But they try to push it until those guys either break the front or they get beaten so bad that they say, you know what, we're going to use this, and that's it. End of story. So let's read this article coming from Russia Today from August 11th, 2023. West can't defeat Russia. The Ukraine conflict is now a war of attrition, end quote, with no easy solution on the horizon, the Serbian president has said. It doesn't mean that whatever he says here is true, but the evidence, the way I see it, I think points to that direction. All Western efforts to help Ukraine prevail over Russia on the battlefield are in vain, Serbian President Aleksandar Vucic said on Thursday, calling on Moscow and Kiev to engage in peace talks. He's still politically correct. He should call on Moscow and Washington to engage in peace talks. for Kiev. Speaking to Happy TV, Vucic stated that while Western countries are providing Ukraine with massive military assistance, and I'm quoting, now it is clear that there is nothing to it, end quote, and an easy end to the conflict is nowhere in sight. And I'm quoting, a war of attrition is being waged, and with all the strength of the West, Russia will not be defeated on the battlefield, end quote, the Serbian leader opinioned. Vucic noted that while he is, and I'm quoting, not sure that Russia has to gain what Russia has to gain politically, a truce between Russia and Ukraine would be the best outcome. And I'm quoting, I see initiatives coming from the Arab countries. I hope that something will bring us closer to peace, end quote, the president said. Well, adding that a cessation of hostilities would also be in the interest of US President Joe Biden, who is up for re-election in 2024. They don't need to because the electorate is very sophisticated in the United States of America. Anyway, or at least part of it. And I'm quoting again, the economy would immediately flourish, energy prices would drop dramatically, everything would be much easier. I think he knows that. The key issue is in the US election is the economy, Vucic says. Yeah, but they don't really care about that. I'm not going to go into. I remember what Stalin said, and I'm not suggesting that happened in other countries, but Stalin, that Georgian communist dictator, Soviet dictator, he said that let them vote as long as we count the votes. Okay, so the economy, all that doesn't really matter. You vote, guys, you vote, and then we're gonna count the vote, and then we're gonna let you know who won. Okay, good. All right, so Vucic here is not so how should I put it? Acid or skeptical of. Well, he still has hopes, or at least he plays diplomatically. He also stated that the same would be true for Russia and Ukraine, which the president believes are exhausted. The president believes are exhausted, although he noted that Moscow was holding up under Western sanctions better than many expected, end quote. In June, the Serbian leader warned of a possible escalation in the Ukraine conflict, saying that Kiev's much-touted offensive, which Russia claims has failed to gain any ground, could trigger a strong response from Moscow. What do you mean a strong response? So they can? Yes, they can. Of course they can. That means it's a controlled war? Yes, I think it is. Yes, I think it is. You don't go and try to invade a country with less than 1 million people. And I say less because I probably can say 600,000 Russians or whomever are fighting the Ukrainians. There's no 30 million. When you're going to hear the Russians saying, you know what, general mobilization, that would be war. That's why they call it special military operation, because it's not a war. A war would be, hoorah, let's go. All 30 million Russians going towards Lisbon or, I don't know, the Atlantic Ocean. Go and conquer the whole thing. Just exaggerating, but that would mean war. Second World War. Not 600,000 Russians fighting, I don't know, 2 million Ukrainians or how many used to be there. Now, let's move on here. Vucic's comments came after a recent Saudi-hosted blah 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 in Jeddah attended by officials from some 40 countries. This is nothing. Nothing. Why nothing? Because you can't have a peace process without both sides being invited, and Russia was not invited, so that was just a BS. These guys are trying to they try to isolate Russia. That's not going to happen. Russia is too big, too strong, too many resources, nuclear weapons as well. So how are you going to isolate? Do you think you talk to, I don't know, Romania or Bulgaria or what? No, you're not talking to Lithuania and these... Not that kind of countries. You talk to Russia. You like it or not, there's 150 million people almost there. They have 7,400 nuclear warheads, has nuclear submarines around anywhere they want it. They want them to be. They have resources forever. They can close their border forever and be Russia as a new, isolated, and they will do great. They don't need the U.S. dye my hair, I identify as, and you are a... No, I don't need that. That can stay here with this garbage right here. Okay, so they don't need that. So nevertheless, I think Vucic is right, and he's not the only one. And the reasons, for the reasons I already said, I mentioned. How are you going to win? Militarily? What do you think that this... Imagine this. Imagine this scenario of this idiot is like this. We're going to push the Russians to the borders of wherever before 2014. So we're going to get Crimea too. And after that, we're going to make somehow the Russians pay reparations, because if they pay reparations, that means they agree that they lost the war. And the Russians will write their history, hey, we lost the war against Ukraine. Do you think that would happen? Whoever would write such a history, that guy is not going to be surviving, I don't know, a few days. Who would admit that? Only these idiots who shoot themselves in the foot say, oh, we lost there, oh, we lost, we're weak, we owe someone to these guys. Yeah, how about some reparations here? How about we're sorry here? Oh, these guys right here, they wreck their country and their civilization. But hey, what can you do? It's still a big boat. It sinks, but slowly, but it sinks. By that time, I'll be dead, and I hope you can go another greener pastures. Thank you very much for being with me again today. If we don't turn things around, and I'm talking about turning things around by spreading the word, organizing, discussing. I'm not talking about anything crazy. Vote, and so on. Participate, actively participate in society. You know, make your voice heard, loud, and do not let yourself be intimidated by these guys who will call you names, who will call you bad person, who try to cancel you, and so on. They're weak. They're weak. They're weaker than us. And not only here too. And here too, definitely here too. They're weak. You just have to look at them, and you're going to see how weak they are. And remember, a weak body, a weak mind, both of them. You know, mens sana in corpore sana. So, thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.